Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be having a look at this. This video is about Honda's CB650R. Now, this model's been around for a little while, but last year, 2024, it was revamped with dusting and new bits and pieces, and also, most importantly, the Honda E-Clutch mechanism, which is quite an interesting bit of kit. We'll go into that in a bit more detail a bit later. However, in short, bike's got a clutch, but you don't need to use it. It's quite clever. I was curious about this when I first heard about it, and I wanted to organise to have a go. So after I finished with the 600RR, this got dropped off for me. I haven't ridden in effect, what is basically a semi-automatic bike since I was a kid. Last properly was probably a C90 when I was about 17 and working as a pizza boy while I was at college, and before that it was probably the PW80 when I was about 6. So let's have a closer look at the bike, let's have a look around it, and we'll take it out and see how it goes. I've had it for about 2 weeks. I've ridden it in all sorts of weathers, going to and from work and around town and out and about, so let's see what it's like.
I'm going to be honest, after spending the majority of my life riding a fully manual motorcycle, I was intrigued to see what the Honda E-Clutch was like. I've come away from the experience suitably impressed. I mean, let's face it, as motorcyclists, we're a weird mix really. We love the raw, gritty feel of control, the clutch slipping finesse, the mechanical bond between human and machine. But also, sometimes, we just can't be asked to pull a clutch lever every 10 seconds in urban traffic. Enter the Honda CB650R E-Clutch, a motorcycle that says, what if your left hand had a day off, but you still got to feel cool? The CB650R E-Clutch model was launched in 2024 to sit alongside its normal sibling and to line up against and alongside the sportier CBR650R E-Clutch. The 650R itself has been around for a few years, having been launched in 2019 and undergoing a few updates over the years. Honda call the model Neo Cafe, and they're right, it's quite striking to look at, with plenty of sporty touches. Manufactured in Honda's Thai facility, the fit and finish are all reassuringly Honda. The bike has a quality feel to it, although not without slight issue, as Honda have recalled some of the 2024 model for potential issues with the shift levers, whereby improper paint application to the gear change arm, the fasteners to the stroke sensor assembly may loosen and fall off. That's what they say anyway. I didn't have any problems with this one. Anyway, this bike is Honda's attempt to build the world's first motorcycle for people who want a manual, but not a manual. It's like an automatic transmission's cooler, sportier cousin who still knows how to party but also gets straight A results at college. Now, before we dive into the voodoo tech, let's talk about appearances. The CB650R looks like it was designed by someone who listened to synthwave while eating titanium. It's all sharp angles, sculpted tanks, LED lighting and that signature Neo Sports Cafe vibe. Basically, if a samurai helmet and a naked street fighter had a baby, this would be it. It comes in colours that all translate to I work in graphic design and sits in that Goldilocks zone of not too aggressive, not too soft. It says, I commute, but I could also beat your sports bike in the twisties. The updated 5-inch full-colour TFT display includes Honda's RoadSync connectivity, providing turn-by-turn navigation and smartphone integration. I must admit though, I did find the navigation a little bit behind at times and it wasn't particularly clear at roundabouts, but maybe that's just me being a bit of a twat. The display is crisp, colourful and surprisingly intuitive. You've got Bluetooth, ride data and enough settings to keep you amused for a while. There is a lack of usual array of rider aids, such as selectable torque control and traction control that can be turned on and off. Those are about it really. The switchgear is solid and nicely backlit, which is handy at night, and it toggles well and feels well. Expensive. It's quality, so typically Honda. As an added bonus, the compact steel diamond twin spar frame and alloy swing arm and 810mm seat height make it accessible to a wide range of riders, so you don't have to be really tall or really short to ride it. The CB650R E-Clutch weighs in at 207 kilograms, only 2 kilograms more than the older non-E-Clutch model. under the tank is a fuel-injected, liquid-cooled 649cc, 16-valve, double overhead camshaft, inline 4, producing a respectable 94 brake horsepower at 12,000 RPM and 46 pound-foot of torque at 9,500 RPM. The engine sounds like it's been sipping espresso and listening to jazz music all morning. It just hums, it purrs, it's so quiet. And when you twist the throttle, it goes from sensible adult to let's ruin our fuel economy and scare a few birds in a heartbeat. It just changes. Power delivery is buttery smooth, especially at a mid-range where this thing comes alive. It's not trying to rip your arms out of their sockets like a 1000cc lunatic, but it'll absolutely get you in trouble if you let your wrist get cocky. It's only low down where it can feel a bit lumpy. I think this is down to the traditional throttle cable as opposed to fly-by-wire like we get on bikes these days. Performance is respectable with a top speed of 135 mph and 0 to 60 in a claimed 3.8 seconds. With fuel consumption rate of approximately 57.6 miles to the gallon, the CB650R E-Clutch is impressively efficient for a midweight naked bike. Combined with a 15.4 litre fuel tank, you can expect a range of about 195 miles between fill-ups, plenty for daily commutes and weekend adventures. Okay, now let's get to the fun stuff, the E-Clutch. That's what this bike's all about really. This is Honda's latest party trick. It's not a DCT, dual clutch transmission, and it's not a full auto. Think of it as a clutch that does the hard work for you, so you can feel like a hero with naff all effort at all. Here's how it works. Basically, you don't need to pull the clutch to pull away. You don't need it to shift gears. You don't need it to stop. You can still use a clutch lever if you're feeling nostalgic or you want to show off at a bike night. Basically, you pull the clutch lever in and it overrides the system. You let go of the clutch again and the automatic system kicks back in after about 10 seconds. Basically, it's clutching without the clutch, like telekinesis for gears, if I can put it that way. The bike uses a couple of fancy servo motors and some ECU wizardry to predict what you want to do, and then just does it. It's smoother than a used car salesman with a new sheepskin coat. Downshifts, they're snappy. Maybe a tad snatchy, but nothing horrendous. Upshifts, they're seamless. Stalling? Not unless you try, and even then, good luck. It's weird at first. You pull up to a red light, your left hand starts twitching as old habits die hard, but there's nothing to do, no lever to pull. You just wait, like a caveman being introduced to fire. And when you pull away, the bike just goes. No clutch feathering, no jerking. It's so smooth, it's smooth enough to butter toast on. Well, when I say no jerking, that's once you've got your head around it. I suppose the big question is it still fun? And the answer is absolutely, surprisingly so. The fear was that Honda's new tech would sanitise the ride, that it would neuter the raw mechanical joy of shifting, but instead it enhances it. You can focus more on throttle control, braking and lines without worrying about wrist strain or clutch cable tension. Think of it as an evolution of a quick shifter. And if you want to be involved, you can still pull the lever and do it the old-fashioned way. It's like having a dishwasher that lets you hand wash your plates when you're feeling romantic about the good old days. This bike handles like a dream. It's light, it's agile and stable in corners. You throw it into bend and it responds with a comforting, yeah, we got this. The suspension is sporty but not back-breaking, and it's comfy enough for daily commuting and responsive enough for weekend shenanigans. The CB650R E-Clutch features Showa 41mm SFF big piston upside down forks up front and monoshock rear suspension with 10-stage preload adjustment. The setup provides a balanced ride offering both comfort and responsiveness. Braking is handled by Nissin with dual 310mm discs and 4-piston radial mount calipers at the front and a single 240mm disc at the rear, both equipped with ABS for added safety and to save your arse when you grab too much brake in a panic because you saw a squirrel or a high-vis lurking behind a bush. So, what's it like in the real world? In town, the E-Clutch is a game changer. No more clutch hand cramps during rush hour, no more stalling when you forget you're in second and try to launch uphill. You just twist and go. It's so simple, it's almost insulting. On the open road, it cruises happily at about 80 plus, the engine purring along like it just came out of a spa day. Wind protection isn't great, but it's a naked bike after all, but if you wanted a windshield, you should have bought a Goldwing. In the twisties, it's playful and responsive and makes you feel faster than you probably are. You can clutchless shift your way up and down the box like a MotoGP superhero, all without ever touching the clutch. It's magic. So, who's it for? New riders who want to learn without stalling in front of a Starbucks, experienced riders who are tired of traffic-induced carpal tunnel syndrome, tech nerds who like pressing buttons and explaining acronyms, and purists who want to complain but end up loving it. So, the final verdict. The Honda CB650R E-Clutch is the motorcycle equivalent of a self-cleaning oven. It makes life easier without taking the fun out of the process. It's sleek, it's clever, and practical without being boring. It's the bike you buy when you want to ride to work every day, play out the weekend, and still have your left hand functioning when you're 50. And I've got to admit, for me, that's getting too close for my liking. Sure, it's a bit of a luxury, and sure, you'll have friends scoff and say, well, real riders use a clutch. But you'll be too busy enjoying a smoother ride and shifting like a pro and wondering why your fingers don't hurt anymore. At £7,999 with a 2-year unlimited mileage warranty, the 650 is a tempting proposition. Also, don't forget there's a choice of optional packs. Comfort pack at £450, comprising of heated grips, tank bag and a tail pack. At £620 you can have a sport pack which comes with a belly pan, seat cowl, fly screen, tank bag and a quick shifter for the non-E-Clutch version, which isn't in existence anymore in 2025. And finally, the style pack at £525, which is made up of aluminium inserts for the air intakes, mudguard and side panels, along with anodised oil level gauge. Anyway, my final rating, I'd say 9 out of 10 on this. It's a real solid bike, and yep, I would ghost clutch again. Check one out, they're quite fun, and you'll be surprised how good they actually are.